Yippee-ki-yay, mother...
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of BJ at the Movies. I am B.
And I am Jay.
And we watched Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Die Hard.
On DVD.
Die Hard on DVD, coming to a TV screen near you. So approximately 3 months after I was born, this movie came out. So safe to say we didn't see this movie in theaters. And I don't know if I've seen Die Hard since I was a kid. I really didn't remember it at all, other than the ending. I remember the ending.
It's a good children's movie. A lot of people like to argue about whether it's a Christmas movie or not. And I wanted to have like a back and forth where you say it is and I say it isn't. But then we watched it, and I think maybe it's the first time I've seen it.
So they mention it being Christmas Eve a bunch of times, but this movie does not take place on Christmas. So is it a Christmas movie?
That's what I was wondering. Like, by the end of this movie, is it Christmas Day yet? Or are we still Christmas Eve? Does it wrap up before midnight? All the craziness that happens? I'm not sure. I'm sure someone knows, but I don't.
Do you have any Christmas movies that you watch every Christmas no matter
No.
what?
After watching this movie, my takeaway isn't Christmas. It's just an incredible action-packed movie that takes place on Christmas Eve. I wouldn't call it a Christmas movie.
Christmas is mentioned, or at least the holidays, it seemingly are mentioned. The whole reason why he's coming in is because it's the holidays, so is it a Christmas movie? I guess so. I mean, if you want to watch it every Christmas, great, go for it.
What defines a Christmas movie? A movie that you watch during Christmas, or a movie that's about Christmas? A movie that has Christmas miracles? A movie that has Christmas messages? What makes a Christmas movie a Christmas movie? Christmas, Christmas, Christmas.
For me, a Christmas movie is a movie that you watch every year around Christmas and has something to do with Christmas. It takes place on Christmas Eve.
Is everything that takes place on Christmas Eve a Christmas subject? Like, if I take a dump, is it a Christmas dump?
The most Christmas part of this movie has to be when is he the chief of the LA police, the guy that comes to help out, and he's like, I'm from the LAPD, I'm in charge now. But then the FBI show up, and they take over, and the FBI are in this helicopter, they're shooting down at John McClane, all this shit's happening, and then their helicopter gets blown up, and he's like, well, I guess we need more FBI agents. Is that the most Christmas message that you've ever heard? He doesn't give a Die Hard. A cop from New York who is a complete badass New York cop.
A deadbeat husband
Has to go to California, somewhere that he is clearly not comfortable. He's not a California guy. He's straight from the streets. He's New York.
who did not give proper support to his wife in her flourishing career in California.
And he gets placed in this situation with a bunch of terrorists, and he has to become
Superman cop, super RoboCop man.
an anti-terrorism hero. He has to become James Bond. He has to become Mission Impossible before Mission Impossible even existed, and he has to save the day. But the bad guys in this movie are very interesting, very memorable, especially
Alan Rickman, his breakout performance.
his little mannerisms. He owns the scene every time he's on camera. You're looking at him based on his subtle face cues, his subtle movements that he does. Everything is on point, playing this power position.
It's a fun, like, cat and mouse chase. It's like Home Alone on steroids.
Sound
88.
is incredible. They do a great job. The way it's filmed is one of the things that even you mentioned, because you thought that it was shot so well.
When he's going through the air vents,
Yep.
and he lights up the lighter.
The big difference between Die Hard 1, 2, and 3 is the fact that in this one, he's not yet like a superhero. He's just a regular New York cop.
You don't know
who's
what
trying
he
to save the
is.
day, who's
You
been
don't
thrown
know
into
what
this.
you don't know what he is.
You don't know. He's just like, it just seems like he's a New York cop. And he's put in the situation.
20 minutes into the movie, they're already diving into the bad guys are taking over. He's in a bad scenario.
Do you think this movie is accurately rated? Like, do you think this movie deserves an 8.2 on IMDb, for example? What is it got, like a 95 on Rotten Tomatoes? Are you in that ballpark? Are you think that's fair, or are you above or below?
it kept my attention the whole movie. It never felt like parts were way too slow. Obviously, there's parts that you have to suspend your disbelief, but I wanted to for these characters. I wanted to believe things were happening and they were really going at each other. There was nothing that brought me out of the experience too much.
There's a lot that brought me out of the experience personally.
Like what?
I mean, those scenes itself, I mean, I've already described the ones where it's like the guy has complete apathy for people being murdered, doesn't care. Even at the end when Alan Rickman falls out of the building, he's dead, and he's like, well, I hope that's not a hostage. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that doesn't make sense, but it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter. You're going on this journey with us, and it's going to be super exciting. There's going to be lots of explosions, there's going to be lots of murders, lots of killing, lots of action. Don't ask too many questions. Just come along for the ride, and it does a great job at that. It's like one of the classic action movie experiences where you just focus on how fun it is and how much fun you're having. He does have a big change from the beginning of this movie to the end, where he apologizes to his wife and says to everyone, even on the radio and stuff, like, I haven't been good to her. I didn't listen to her. I wasn't patient. Yeah. I was very selfish in staying in New York and didn't support her. Yeah, and that's pretty big for...
All it took was 12 global terrorists to take over the building and threaten 30 innocent people. The deterioration of John McClane throughout the film is another thing. His feet are getting destroyed. Oh, yeah, his clothes. Oh, man. The weapons he goes through.
Don't follow the blood trail of his bloody feet that are perfectly walking around, but ignore that. So if you were to give this movie a rating, what would you rate this movie?
Perhaps you should just put a little bit of margarine and butter on your lens and just make it not as sharp and view it from pulled back a bit and just have fun with it. Protagonist and the antagonist and all the crazy stuff that surrounds them, whether it makes sense or not, out of it changed. Well, one of them, well, they're both changed. One's dead and the other one is more alive than ever. So what was your question?
What do you give this movie as a rating?
I'm thinking like I'll give it like a 8.1.
8.1 from Jason. There it is. 8.1. This is a must-watch movie for action fans. That's what I'll say.
So what do you rate it?
I will give this movie a...
I know you want to go sevens.
Oh, it's going to be in the sevens.
Yeah.
Now, where in the sevens? I'm really...
You are aware of what this is on Rotten Tomato. 94.
That's why I'm very scared to give this movie 7.7.
7.7.
And I was thinking 7.6, but 7.7 based on the context. When this movie came out, what it delivered, and how it, catapulted Bruce Willis and Alan Rickman into stardom.
Yeah. You know what? If we saw this when it came out,
I think that's the difference, right? We're seeing it now after having been spoiled with so many great action movies that probably took a lot from this one.
So, I mean, what else can you say about Die Hard? It's a classic. It made a lot of money, and they made a lot of Die Hards.
I would love to know what you guys thought of Die Hard. Is this a Christmas movie? Is it a movie that you watch every Christmas? Do you think this deserves the ratings that we gave it? Would you rate it higher or lower? Let me know what you think. I would love to know. I'd love to chat with these movies, chat with you about these movies.
That's B. I'm Jay. That's Die Hard. A movie that teaches us if you're going to get stuck in a tower full of terrorists, make sure you keep your shoes on. Good night. That was good.